Around the world, people stopped everything they were doing to watch the fight. Workers left their jobs. Students ignored their classes. Even prisoners in jails gathered around TV screens. Everyone knew they were watching the most important moment. In human history, Kim Tae-ho could feel their eyes on him. Billions of people believing he could do the impossible. Their faith gave him strength that went beyond muscle and bone. He was not just fighting for himself now. He was fighting for every human who had ever lived and every human who might live in the future. Kexra activated his energy armor and charged again. His claws now glowed with power that could slice through tank armor. Each swipe left trails of light in the air. The alien moved like a hurricane of destruction, expecting to finally end this embarrassing fight. But Kim Tae-ho was ready. The Marine had been watching, studying, learning. The alien was strong and fast, but it fought like a machine following patterns. Kim Tae-ho fought like a human, chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous. When Kexra attacked high, Kim Tae-ho went low. When the alien expected him to dodge left, he rolled right. The Marine was not trying to match the alien's strength. He was using his own advantages, speed, cunning, and most importantly, the ability to think outside the box. Kim Tae-ho grabbed a piece of broken concrete and threw it at Kexra's face. The alien blocked it easily, but that gave the Marine the split second he needed to get inside the creature's guard. His combat knife appeared in his hand faster than the eye could follow. The blade found the gap between armor plates and sank deep. Kexra roared in pain and surprise. Purple blood splattered onto the ground, steaming in the cold air. The alien had been wounded by a primitive human weapon. How is this possible? Kexra gasped as he stumbled backward. Your species has barely left your own planet. We have conquered worlds for thousands of years. Kim Tae-ho pulled out his knife and got ready for the next attack. Maybe that is your problem. You have been winning so long you forgot how to really fight. We humans lose all the time. That is how we learn to never give up. The words hit Kexra harder than any physical blow. The alien realized something terrifying. The human was right. Vorthak warriors always fought weaker species. They had grown soft from easy victories. This Marine had been forged in the fires of endless human conflicts, where only the strongest and smartest survived. Dr. Park So Young was frantically taking notes as her equipment recorded impossible readings. Kim Tae-ho's body was producing chemicals that did not exist in normal human biology. His muscle fibers were actually changing, becoming denser. His reflexes were operating faster than human nerves should be able to transmit signals. It was like evolution and fast forward. All the survival instincts that had carried humanity through ice ages and plagues and wars were activating at once. Kim Tae-ho was becoming something more than human without stopping being human. Captain Lee Hyun-woo arrived with backup troops, but they could only watch in amazement as their sergeant fought a battle that should have been impossible. The alien was bigger, stronger, faster, and had better technology. But Kim Tae-ho had something the galaxy had never seen before. He had hope. Kexra made one last desperate attack, putting all his strength into a four-armed strike that could have leveled a building. Kim Tae-ho did not try to dodge or block. Instead, he stepped forward into the attack, grabbing two of the alien's arms and using its own momentum against it. The judo throw sent the 7-foot warrior flying through the air. Kexra crashed into the pavement, so hard the ground cracked beneath him. When the dust settled, the alien lay still, his energy armor flickering and dying. Kim Tae-ho stood over his fallen opponent, breathing hard blood running from dozen wounds. But he was alive. He had won. The impossible had happened. The crowd erupted in cheers that could be heard for miles. People were crying and laughing and hugging strangers. News reports were going crazy as anchors tried to explain what everyone had just witnessed. A human being had defeated a galactic warrior in single combat. But Kim Tae-ho did something that shocked everyone even more. He knelt down beside the wounded alien and began checking his injuries. When Kexra opened his eyes expecting to be killed, he found the human offering him water. Why? The alien whispered. Why do you help me? I tried to kill you. I came to destroy your world. Because that is what humans do. Kim Tae-ho replied. We fight like devils, but we do not kick enemies when they are down. Maybe that is why you lost. You forgot what it means to have honor. Kexra stared up at this strange creature that had defeated him, then showed mercy. The alien had studied human culture and dismissed their concepts of honor and compassion as weaknesses. Now he was not so. Sure as medical teams arrived to treat both fighters, the galaxy watched in stunned silence. What they had witnessed changed everything. Humans were not just another primitive species to be eliminated. They were something new, something dangerous, and beautiful and completely unpredictable. The 7-day deadline suddenly seemed much less important than understanding what humanity really was. The morning sun was just rising over Seoul when everything changed forever. Kim Tae-ho was leading his Marine squad through the empty streets looking for survivors after the big earthquake last week. The buildings were broken and glass-covered, the roads like sharp snow. His boots made crunching sounds as he walked. Then the sky went dark. Huge metal ships appeared above the city. They were bigger than mountains and made a deep humming sound that hurt his ears. Kim Tae-ho looked up and felt his stomach drop. These were not human ships. The metal was strange and purple lights flashed along their sides like angry eyes. His radio crackled to life. Every channel was screaming the same thing. Alien ships were appearing over every major city. On Earth, New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow. All of them had the same massive vessels hanging in the sky like death itself. The ships did not attack right away. Instead, they sent a message. Every TV screen, every phone, every computer in the world showed the same thing. A tall creature with purple skin and 3 red eyes spoke in perfect English, though its voice sounded like metal scraping against stone. We are the Vorthak Empire. You humans are too dangerous to live. Your species has nuclear weapons, but you still fight wars. This makes you a threat to peace in the galaxy. We give you 7 days to surrender all your military forces. If you refuse, we will destroy your planet completely. Kim Tae-ho felt his blood turn cold. The creature continued. Speaking its name was High Commander Vex Thule, and it had been watching Earth for 50 years. They had seen humans create powerful weapons but still kill each other in endless wars. According to galactic law, any species that developed nuclear power before achieving world peace had to be eliminated. 7 days. That was all humanity had left. The first alien soldiers came down in beams of purple light. They were 7 feet tall with thick scales covering their bodies. Each one had 4 arms that ended in claws sharp enough to cut through steel. Their eyes glowed red in the darkness, and when they moved it was faster than any human could run. Kim Tae-ho gathered his Marines behind an overturned bus. They had rifles and grenades, but looking at these creatures he knew their weapons would be useless. The aliens carried energy guns that could melt through concrete. The few police and soldiers who tried to fight were turned to ash in seconds. But Kim Tae-ho was a United States Marine. He had sworn an oath to protect people no matter what the odds were. Even if these aliens were stronger, faster, and had better weapons, he would not give up. That was not what Marines did. One of the alien commanders walked toward their hiding spot. It held up one clawed hand and spoke through a small device that translated its words. I am Kexra. I wish to speak with your military leader. We know you are here. Come out and we will not harm the others. Kim Tae-ho looked at his squad. They were scared, but ready to fight. Private Hong Jae-min was barely 19 years old. Corporal Jung Eun-ji had a family back home. All of them were looking to him for orders. He could surrender and maybe save their lives, or he could stand up and face these monsters. Chose to fight. Kim Tae-ho stepped out from behind the bus with his hands raised but not in surrender. In respect, he walked toward Kexra until they stood face to face. The alien was much taller, and its red eyes studied him like he was some kind of interesting bug. I am Sergeant Kim Tae-ho, United States Marine Corps. He said, your commander gave us 7 days, but I will give you my answer now. We will not surrender. The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. You think you can fight us? Your weapons cannot even scratch our armor. Your fastest jets move like crawling insects compared to our ships. What can one human do against the power of the galaxy? Kim Tae-ho looked up at the creature that could probably kill him with one hand. I can die standing up. That is what humans do. We do not kneel to bullies no matter how big they are. Kexra seemed surprised by this answer. It tilted its head and studied the human more carefully. The alien had destroyed dozens of worlds and conquered hundreds of species. Most of them begged for mercy or tried to bargain for their lives. This small creature was different. Very well said, Kexra. I will give you a chance to prove human strength. Fight me in single combat. If you win, I will delay our attack for 1 full day. If you lose, your death will show your people that resistance is hopeless. Kim Tae-ho knew it was a trap. The alien was bigger, stronger, and faster, but maybe if he could land one good hit, maybe if he could show the world that humans would not go quietly, it would mean something. Maybe other people would find hope in his sacrifice. I accept, he said. The crowd that had been hiding came out to watch. Thousands of people gathered in the square as alien soldiers formed a circle. Around the two fighters, news cameras from around the world focused on this impossible scene. A human marine about to fight a galactic warrior in hand-to-hand combat. Kim Tae-ho looked around at all the faces watching him. Children held on to their parents' hands. Old people stood next to teenagers. Everyone was scared, but they were all there. They believed in him somehow. They thought he could do the impossible. He thought about his training, about all the Marines who had died protecting others. He thought about his country, about Earth, about the human race that was about to be wiped out. Unless he could somehow win a fight that no human should be able to survive. Kexra cracked its knuckles and all 4 arms moved like snakes ready to strike. Are you ready to die, human? Kim Tae-ho got into his fighting stance and felt something deep inside him. Wake up, something that had been sleeping since his ancestors fought wild animals with nothing but stones and sticks. I am ready to fight. The battle for humanity was about to begin. The crowd held their breath as Kexra moved with speed that made Kim Tae-ho look like he was standing still. The alien commander had fought warriors from across the galaxy and destroyed them all. This human would be no different, just another quick kill to prove Vorthak's superiority, but Kexra wanted to make this death special. The whole world was watching, so he would crush this marine slowly. Let everyone see how helpless humans really were. His first 2 hands shot out like lightning, wrapping around Kim Tae-ho's neck. His other 2 hands grabbed the human's head, ready to squeeze until the skull cracked like an egg. The alien lifted Kim Tae-ho off the ground with ease. His grip tightened around the marine's throat, cutting off air. The crowd gasped as they watched their champion being strangled by a creature that seemed made of living metal. Kexra smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. This would be over in seconds. Kim Tae-ho felt the iron grip crushing his windpipe. His vision started to go dark, and he could hear his heartbeat pounding in his ears. The alien hands on his head began to squeeze, applying pressure that should have killed any human instantly. The creature was trying to pop his skull like a balloon, but something strange happened. Instead of dying, Kim Tae-ho felt angry, really angry. He thought about all the people watching, all the children who would grow up as slaves if he failed. He thought about Marines who had died before him and how they never gave up, no matter what. The anger turned into something else, something hot and powerful that flowed through his whole body. His muscles felt different, stronger. His bones felt harder. His mind became crystal clear even though he could not breathe. The pain was still there, but now he could use it. Kim Tae-ho reached up and grabbed Kexra's wrists. His fingers found pressure points that made the alien flinch. The grip around his throat loosened just a tiny bit, but it was enough. He sucked in a breath, and with it came more of that strange power. Impossible, muttered Kexra as he felt the human hands actually making dents in his armored skin. No species should be able to resist Vorthak's strength. Your bones should have broken already. Kim Tae-ho did not waste breath on words. Instead, he drove his knee up into the alien's midsection. The kick landed between 2 armor plates, and Kexra doubled over in surprise. The alien had been hit by energy weapons that could destroy tanks. But this simple human punch actually hurt. The crowd erupted in cheers as they saw their Marine fighting back. Dr. Park, So Young, was watching from her laboratory, and her instruments were going crazy. The readings from Kim Tae-ho's body were impossible. His adrenaline levels were 10 times normal. His heart was beating so fast it should have exploded. His brain activity looked like he was having a seizure, but he was not just alive. He was getting stronger. Kim Tae-ho broke free from the alien's grip and rolled away. His throat was bruised and his head felt like it was going to split open. But he could move and think and fight. The strange power flowing through him made everything seem possible. Kexra straightened up and all 4 arms began moving in complex patterns. This human was tougher than expected, but the alien had other tricks. The commander had killed creatures 10 times larger than this Marine. A little extra durability would not save him. The alien charged forward with all 4 claws extended. Each hand moved independently, creating a whirlwind of attacks that should have shredded Kim Tae-ho in seconds. The Marine dodged and weaved, but several claws found their mark, leaving deep cuts across his chest and arms. Blood ran down Kim Tae-ho's uniform, but instead of weakening him, it seemed to make him more focused. More dangerous, he was learning the alien's fighting style, adapting to its speed. His ancestors had survived by being tougher than everything that tried to kill them. That same stubborn refusal to die was waking up in his DNA. Kim Tae-ho caught one of Kexra's arms and used it to swing the alien around. The 7-foot creature flew through the air and crashed into the side of a building, leaving a deep crater in the concrete. The crowd could not believe what they were seeing. A human throwing around a galactic warrior like he was made of paper. Kexra got back up, shaking his head in confusion. This was not how the fight was supposed to go. He had expected to crush the human, quickly and brutally, to break human morale before the real war began. Instead, this Marine was making him look weak in front of billions of watchers. The alien commander pulled out a small device and pressed it. His armor began glowing with energy, fields that made the air around him shimmer. Now his punches would hit with the force of explosions. His claws would cut through steel like butter. But Kim Tae-ho was changing too. The strange power in his body was growing stronger. His reflexes were faster than they had ever been. His strength was increasing with every heartbeat. He felt like he could fight forever, like nothing could stop him. "This is what happens when you corner a human," Kim Tae-ho said as he wiped blood from his mouth. "We do not know how to quit." The real fight was just beginning, and the galaxy was about to learn why humans had survived everything their planet could throw at them. They were about to discover what made humanity the most dangerous species in the universe. News of the fight spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. On Vorthak Prime, High Commander Vex Thule watched the recording for the 10th time, his 3 eyes focused on every detail of the impossible battle. A single human had defeated their finest warrior using nothing but determination and primitive tactics. "This changes everything," he muttered to his advisors. "We may have seriously underestimated this species." The recordings were being analyzed by military experts from dozens of alien races. The insect-like Cleith were fascinated by human unpredictability. The aquatic Mortai admired their adaptability. Even the robotic Nexus Collective found human behavior intriguingly chaotic. On Earth, Dr. Park So Young was leading a team of scientists trying to understand what had happened to Kim Tae-ho during the fight. The biological data they collected was rewriting everything they knew about human potential. The sergeant had accessed genetic programs that had been dormant for thousands of years. His body produced emergency chemicals that allowed muscles to work beyond their normal limits. His nervous system had rewired itself to process information faster. His bones had actually become denser during the fight, as if his skeleton was adapting in real time. But the most amazing discovery was in his brain scans. Kim Tae-ho had somehow accessed parts of his mind that normal humans never used. The areas responsible for pattern recognition, spatial awareness, and tactical thinking had all become hyperactive. "We always wondered why humans have such large brains compared to other species on Earth," Dr. Park explained to her team. "Now I think I know. We were built for situations exactly like this. Our ancestors needed every advantage they could get to survive." Meanwhile, Kim Tae-ho was recovering in a military hospital. His wounds were healing faster than should be possible, and he felt different, more aware, more alive. The strange power he had felt during the fight was still there, just waiting beneath the surface. Visitors came from around the world to see the Marine who had done the impossible. Military leaders wanted to understand his tactics. Scientists wanted to study his biology. Religious leaders called him a miracle. But Kim Tae-ho knew he was just a regular person who had refused to quit. Captain Lee Hyun-woo brought news that changed everything. The alien fleet had not attacked as promised. Instead, they were receiving communications from other species across the galaxy. Many were questioning whether humanity deserved extinction. The Cleith ambassador had sent a secret message. The insectoids had always been curious about human art and music. They wondered if a species capable of creating beauty might also be capable of growing beyond violence. The Mortai were impressed by human diversity. Earth had thousands of different cultures, languages, and beliefs, yet they had united when faced with extinction. Most species achieved unity through conquest. Humans seemed to manage it through choice. Even some Vorthak were having doubts. Kexra himself had requested permission to study human culture more deeply. His defeat had shaken his beliefs about strength and superiority. He wanted to understand how mercy could coexist with such fierce determination. Admiral Choi Min-seo coordinated with military leaders around the globe. They knew the reprieve would not last forever. The galaxy was watching, but Earth still had only days to prove humanity deserved to survive. The answer came from an unexpected source. Children around the world began sending messages to the alien fleet. Simple drawings showing humans and aliens as friends. Stories about cooperation and peace. Videos of kids from different countries playing together. These messages had a profound effect on species that had forgotten what innocence looked like. Adult aliens had spent centuries focused on war, conquest, and survival. But human children offered something else. Hope for a better future. The galactic community began to split. Some species wanted to honor the original extermination order. Others demanded that humanity be given a chance to prove itself. The Vorthak Empire found their authority challenged for the first time in generations. High Commander Vex Thule faced a choice. He could proceed with the planned destruction and risk civil war among the galactic species, or he could delay the execution and see what these remarkable humans might become. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance, and the decision would reshape the galaxy forever. Colonel Kang Da-eun stood in the emergency command center that had been set up beneath Seoul. The room buzzed with activity as military leaders from every continent coordinated humanity Earth's most desperate hour. They knew traditional warfare would be useless against the Vorthak fleet, so they had to think differently. Reports were coming in from around the globe. Other humans were showing the same incredible abilities that Kim Tae-ho had displayed in his fight. Marine Private Hong Jae-min had lifted a car off trapped civilians in Tokyo. His strength increased by the adrenaline and determination flowing through his body. In New York, Corporal Young Eun-ji had run for 6 hours straight, carrying wounded people to safety. Her endurance pushed beyond normal human limits by the same survival instincts that had awakened in Kim Tae-ho. Dr. Park So Young was working around the clock trying to understand the phenomenon. She had discovered that extreme stress combined with strong emotional connections to other people could trigger these enhanced abilities. It was like humans had a hidden reserve of power that only activated when they were fighting for something bigger than themselves. The key was not individual strength, but unity. When humans worked together, when they fought for their families, their communities, their species, something extraordinary happened. They became more than the sum of their parts. Around the world, ordinary people were doing incredible things. Teenagers who had never seen combat were standing up to alien soldiers with nothing but courage. Parents were finding superhuman strength to protect their children. Old people were sharing wisdom that helped others survive impossible situations. The aliens watching from orbit were confused by what they saw. Most species fought as individuals even when working in groups, but humans seemed to share strength with each other. Their courage spread like wildfire through crowds. One-person determination could inspire thousands. Captain Kexra was studying these reports from his recovery bed on the Vorthak flagship. His defeat by Kim Tae-ho had earned him disgrace among his own people, but it had also opened his eyes to something amazing. Human warriors did not fight alone. They carried the hopes and dreams of their entire species into battle. The alien commander requested permission to speak directly with High Commander Vex Thule. It was an unusual request from a disgraced officer, but Kexra had information that could change everything. "Commander," he said, When the communication link opened, I have been watching human behavior since my defeat. I believe we have made a serious error in our assessment of this species. Vex Thul, 3 red eyes focused on the screen. You were defeated by a primitive warrior. What could you possibly have learned? They are not primitive. Kexra replied. They are something we have never encountered before, a species that grows stronger through adversity. Every challenge makes them more determined. Every loss teaches them new ways to win. They do not fight as individuals. They fight as one organism with 8 billion parts. The High Commander was skeptical. These humans have nuclear weapons and still wage wars among themselves. How? Does that show unity because their wars are not about conquest? Kexra explained. They fight for ideas, for beliefs, for the right to be different. Most of their conflicts end, not with extinction, but with understanding. They learn from their enemies, and often turn them into allies. On Earth, Lieutenant Yoon Se-ri was training with other volunteers who wanted to learn the combat techniques Kim Tae-ho had discovered. The training was brutal and dangerous, but people lined up by the thousands willing to risk everything for a chance to defend their world. The volunteers came from every country, every background. Farmers stood next to professors. Former enemies trained side by side, united by their common humanity. Women fought alongside men. Children, as young as 16, insisted on joining the training. This was what the aliens could not understand. Humans did not just have individual strength. They had collective will. 8 billion people all choosing to fight, rather than surrender, all willing to die for the chance that their species might survive. Dr. Park So-young made another breakthrough in her research. Human DNA contained genetic memories from millions of years of evolution. Every survival instinct, every adaptation that had helped their ancestors survive was still there waiting to be activated. When humans faced extinction, these ancient programs kicked in all at once. They became faster, stronger, smarter, more resilient. But most importantly, they became more connected to each other. The crisis stripped away all the small differences that usually divided them. As the final deadline approached, humanity prepared for war. But they were not preparing as separate nations or armies. They were preparing as one species united by their refusal to go quietly into the night. The galaxy was about to witness something unprecedented in cosmic history. An entire planet fighting as one organism with billions of minds, but a single purpose: to survive and protect everything they held dear. The moment of truth arrived as alien representatives from across the galaxy gathered in Earth orbit. The Vorthak fleet was ready to begin bombardment, but they found themselves surrounded by ships from dozens of other species. Everyone wanted to witness what many believed would be humanity. Last Stand High Commander Vex Thul stood on the bridge of his flagship looking down at the blue and green world below. His orders were clear. Exterminate the human threat before it could spread beyond Earth. But those orders had been given before anyone understood what humans really were. Lieutenant Yoon Se-ri led the first wave of human volunteers who had mastered the enhanced combat abilities. When Vorthak boarding parties attempted to capture major cities, they found resistance unlike anything in their experience. Every human fought with impossible determination. Children threw rocks at alien soldiers while their parents fought with kitchen knives and garden tools elderly people shared. Tactical knowledge that helped younger fighters survive teenagers formed groups that moved like wolf packs, coordinating attacks through pure instinct. The aliens had superior technology, but humans had something they had never encountered before: absolute refusal to accept defeat. Even when outnumbered 10-1, humans kept fighting. When their weapons failed, they used their hands. When their hands failed, they used their teeth. Dr. Park So-young broadcast her final research findings to the entire galaxy, explaining the secret of human strength. The enhancement they had witnessed was not magic or technology, but pure evolutionary survival response triggered by emotional bonds and shared purpose. Humans do not fight just for themselves, she explained to billions of alien viewers. They fight for abstract concepts like freedom, love, hope, justice. These emotions, which many species consider weaknesses, actually make humans stronger under pressure. They will die for ideas that exist only in their minds. The galactic audience watched in amazement as humans demonstrated this principle again and again. Parents sacrificed themselves to save children they had never met. Soldiers shared their last food with wounded enemies. Strangers worked together like they had been friends for years. Captain Kexra provided commentary from his unique perspective as the only alien to have fought a human in single combat. When I faced Sergeant Kim Tae-ho, I thought I was fighting one individual, he said. But I realize now I was fighting the entire human species. Every human who ever lived was there in that moment, giving him strength. The tide of battle began to turn as more humans accessed their hidden abilities, but not through violence, through cooperation. Groups of people working together could accomplish impossible tasks. Their combined will seemed to bend reality around them. A breakthrough came when human children began approaching alien soldiers, not with weapons, but with drawings and flowers. The young aliens in the boarding parties had never seen such behavior. Their training had prepared them for fear, hatred, and violence, but not for innocent trust. Many Vorthak soldiers found themselves unable to fire on creatures that showed no aggression. Some even began to question their orders when human children tried to bandage their wounds or share their food. High Commander Vexthul watched his carefully planned invasion dissolving into chaos. His soldiers were supposed to face desperate defenders fighting for survival. Instead, they encountered something far more dangerous: people fighting for love. The other galactic species were having similar reactions. The Cleath were fascinated by human creativity under pressure. The Mortai admired their adaptability. The Nexus Collective found their unpredictability refreshing after millennia of logical behavior. Ambassador Lixvel of the Cleath sent a formal protest to the Vorthak command. These humans may be young and violent, but they show remarkable potential for growth. Many species took thousands of years to evolve beyond warfare, but humans might achieve it in generations, if given the chance. Kim Tae-ho delivered the final speech that changed everything. Broadcast across the galaxy from the ruins of Seoul, he spoke directly to every alien species listening. "We are not perfect," he admitted. "Our history is full of mistakes and violence, but we are learning. We are trying to be better. Look around you. Every species in this galaxy was once young and violent, once fought wars over territory and resources. The difference is you had time to grow, to learn from your mistakes. We ask not for forgiveness, but for the same chance you were given, the chance to become worthy of the stars." The speech resonated across the galaxy. Species that had been conquered by the Vorthak remembered their own young, violent days. Those that had evolved beyond conflict remembered the struggles it took to get there. High Commander Vexthul faced the most difficult decision in Vorthak history: continue with the extermination and risk civil war among galactic species, or spare humanity and challenge thousands of years of imperial policy. He chose change. The announcement went out across the galaxy. Humanity would be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Federation. They would have 50 Earth years to prove they could evolve beyond their violent nature. If they failed, the extermination order would be reinstated, but no one expected them to fail. The galaxy had seen what humans could accomplish when they worked together. They had witnessed ordinary people becoming extraordinary through nothing but determination and love for their species. Kim Tae-ho became Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Federation, not because of his diplomatic training, but because he embodied humanity's greatest strength: the refusal to give up. His first act was to invite representatives from every species to visit Earth to see humanity diversity firsthand. The galaxy began to change in ways no one anticipated. Species that had been enemies for centuries began to remember what they had been fighting for. Younger generations started questioning old conflicts. Wars that had raged for millennia suddenly seemed pointless. Humans spread across the stars not as conquerors but as teachers of hope. They carried with them the lesson that had saved their species. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from refusing to accept the impossible. The Marine who had faced certain death in a Soul Square became the symbol of a new galactic age, an age where species worked together, where differences were celebrated instead of feared, where love proved stronger than fear, and in training centers across the galaxy. Young beings of every species began to learn the most important lesson humans had to offer. When you fight for something bigger than yourself, when you refuse to give up on what you believe in, you become capable of miracles.